Hey, what's up, students? Jeremy Anderson here. Welcome to another episode of Next Level Students, episode 61. Let's get it. All right, question number one. What you got?
Hello, my name is Kendra Valdez. I am from West Point High School, located in Arizona. I just wanted to say I love the attitude you take to motivate other people. And my question for you today, Mr. Anderson, is do you have any tips for students that are struggling with online education at the moment?
Yes. So I feel that most students across the globe, across the country of America, like everywhere, they struggling. It's very few students that love virtual learning. Most of them are like, man, this is different and this is weird. And so this is where we have to tap into our discipline. It's not something you enjoy doing. It's not fun, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do so one day you can do what you wanna do. So I'm gonna give you all a few tips. So for one, I wanna challenge you how I did in previous episode to shift your perspective and be grateful and acknowledge this ain't punishment. This isn't something you gotta do. This is something you get to do, right? Don't say you gotta do virtual learning. Say I get to do virtual learning. Let me tell you what I mean. I never forget I had to speak for a conference one time and I was talking to one of my buddies and I was like, yeah, man, I gotta go to Vancouver and speak tomorrow. He was like, dude, I wish I could go to Vancouver. And I had to check myself like, wow. I said, I gotta go, like it was a burden. I should have said, hey man, I get to go to Vancouver tomorrow to speak. I get to fly to a different country and speak. Like I get to, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a privilege. So many people are looking at, because of what's happening with the pandemic, many people are looking at this virtual learning like it's just the worst thing ever. Well, we should actually be excited. Be grateful that you got tablets. Be grateful that you got technology. Be grateful that you got computers. Be grateful that you got Wi-Fi. Be grateful that you got teachers who are willing to show up and meet you halfway. You see what I'm saying? Like shift your perspective. That's the first thing. That's my first tip to help those of you that are struggling virtually. Secondly, is I would say to treat it like you actually going to school. Like I know a lot of students, they be getting up breath funky, they breath be kicking. I'm talking about high, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like I need you waking up in the morning, brushing your teeth, wash your face, take a shower, get dressed like you actually going to school. Except maybe you wearing something a little bit more comfy like me. Like I like to wear sweats and t-shirts pretty much all the time. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to get your mind right and get like in a rhythm like you were at school. Right? And then the third thing I want to challenge you to do is you do for others how you would want them to do for you. Right? I want you in front of that computer with good lighting in front of you. I want your computer on. I want you setting an example. Because what's going to happen is it's going to be contagious. Other students are going to start seeing you take it more serious and be locked in. And then they're going to naturally be more serious and be locked in. And even if they don't, you focus on you. Because that's the problem a lot of people have. Folks be worried about other folks. I want you to focus on you. You set the best example. You do the best that you can do for you. Last but not least, learning virtually is not easy. Though it is a privilege, it's not a cakewalk, right? I want you all to make sure that when you log into that computer, you know what I'm saying, when you're locked in with your teacher, I want to make sure that you kill all distractions. So if your phone a distraction, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat be calling your name, put your phone somewhere. I need you locked in. Cut the TV off. I need you locked in. No distractions. I want when you're supposed to be in, don't be surfing other browsers. I know how y'all be doing. Y'all ain't slick. Y'all ain't slick. You know what I'm saying? I know what y'all be doing. Don't do that. Let's not do the other browsers. You lock in and get the absolute best education that you have. Because there are some students that are struggling during this pandemic with virtual learning, but it's some that's thriving. It's something that's going to that next level because they fully give themselves to it. And I want you to do the same thing. I know you can do it. I know you got what it takes. The question is, can you be disciplined enough to execute it? All right, question number 2. What you got?
I have a really hard time focusing, especially when it's on a subject I don't like. Do you have any tips for that?
Facts. Hey, say young bruh, you singing my song now, big dog. I promise you, I was the ADHD king. So you said you have a hard time struggling. You struggle to focus and pay attention, especially when it's in a class that you don't care for. I get it. I'll give you some similar answers to what I gave with the previous question. Is you got to be disciplined. I told you before and I'll tell you again. I'm gonna make sure all y'all get this in your spirit. I might tell you every single episode, doggone it. The most successful people in the world are not the most talented. They are not the smartest. They are not the most gifted. The most successful people in the world are those who are the most disciplined. I need you to be disciplined. So even though you don't like to do it, look, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do so you can do what you wanna do. Hear me and hear me clearly. Sometimes, my man, you gotta do what you gotta do so that one day you do what you wanna do. I remember being that student in class, taking Ritalin, diagnosed with ADHD. They was giving me Ritalin every hour. I wasn't even supposed to have it that often, just to try to keep me medicated and to keep me still. I was off the chain all over the place. That's why my little girl, who right over here up under the desk right now while I'm filming, she be off the chain. I get it. My wife be like, why can't she just be still? I understand it, because that was me. So I understand where you're coming from. And I ain't like none of my subjects. I ain't like none of my classes in school. Let me be crystal clear. I'm not that scholar that bounced back and got all these amazing grades and graduated from high school on time because I love school. I was that scholar that bounced back after being left behind 2 different grades, caught up with my right grade, graduated from high school on time, not because I enjoyed school, but because I was disciplined. And I want to challenge each and every one of you to be disciplined. You do the absolute best you can to lock in. You do the absolute best you can to focus. You do the absolute best you can to pay attention. If you're listening and you're reading and you're actually doing your work, and then you're like, oh, there goes the butterfly, you just bring yourself right back. You might have to do it 4 or 5 different times. It be like that sometimes. I was up this morning in the office early, reading the word. I was actually like reading and really going in. And I started thinking about some things I got to do with the company. And I'm like, nope, let me bring it right back here. James chapter 5. And then I'm just reading and then start thinking about the trip I got to take. And I'm like, nope, let me just. So I still deal with it, but I bring myself back. Every time you see yourself wander, you bring yourself back. That might mean you have to read the chapter over and over and over again. You might have to read that paragraph over and over and over again. You might have to ask engaging questions like, Miss Parker, hey, Miss Sikowski, how is this going to apply? Hey, Mr. Peters, how is this going to apply in the real world? How can I apply this? Sometimes you might have to ask those questions. But what you can't do, what I will not allow you to do, is just be like, whatever, this is dumb, and I check out. Because then you do that and then you fail. And then they're not gonna just give you a pass. You're gonna have to figure it out, and you're not gonna be a failure. Oh, no, you shall win. You shall succeed. You shall grow. You shall be amazing. You will be epic. You will do some amazing things. You will live a life that is prolific. So that means you gotta be locked in. That means you have to focus, and you may have to give this work your absolute all. And even though you get distracted and you be all over the place, you do the best you can to bring it back in, and you stay focused on what matters. All right, good question. Question number 3, what you got?
Hey Jeremy, my name is Timothy. I'm a senior. The question I have for you is, how do you focus in an environment where other people aren't?
Okay, so that's a good question, right? But at the same time, it's a good question. How do you focus? You know what I'm saying? How do you focus when others don't? Don't you worry about what they doing. Listen to me, bruh. If I was doing what my boys was doing, if I was doing what other people was doing back in the day, I wouldn't be where I am today. At some point, I had to separate myself from the pack. At some point, I had to tell myself I'm not going to be a follower. At some point, I had to tell myself I'm going to be a leader. At some point, I had to tell myself I'm not going to follow the crowd. At some point, I had to tell myself I'm not going to go in the path and direction of everybody else. If I want to do and have things that other people don't get to do and have, then I got to be willing to do some things that they're not necessarily doing. Does that make sense? Like if I want to live a life on that next level and I want to go to another level, then I got to be willing to do some things that other people are not doing. There has to be another level of discipline. Remember that in the last question? There has to be another level of sacrifice. I need you locked in. I remember being in class. At one point, I was that student that was not listening. At one point, I was not that student that wasn't paying attention. At one point, I was that student that was off the chain. Like I was that guy. Then I flipped it, because when my mind changed, my life changed. Come on, you missed that. That was the moment we just shared right there. Pull that thing back up. You missed it. When my mind changed, my life changed. My brain had it. I'm talking to you, Q. Who am I talking to? Listen, I'm talking to you, Brian. You missed it. When my mind changed, my life changed. I'm talking to you, Sabrina. My mind changed. My thoughts changed. Like when I changed inside my brain, my whole life began to change. I stopped saying what other people not going to do. I stopped focusing on what other people wasn't going to have. I stopped focusing on if other people was paying attention or not. I was like, look, I can't control you. I ain't got no heaven or hell to put you in. I can't make you successful. I can't make you be a failure, but I can determine where I go in my life. I can determine what I experience. I can determine what I accomplish. I can determine what kind of grades I get. I can determine whether or not I catch up with my right grade and graduate from school on time. I can determine whether or not I go to college. I determine whether or not I'll buy a home. I determine whether or not I'll be successful and travel the world. And you have the same power. So don't you be worried about who's on your left. Don't you be worried about who's on your right. Don't you be focused on what they doing and what they not doing. It's sad, like, I wish you was winning, but I'm winning. I got people all the time. I got some people I'm able to help. I got some people I'm able to coach, and they like, oh, actually listen. And I got some folks I'm like, oh, you want to do your own thing? I'll wipe my hands clean and keep it moving. Why? Because I'm staying focused. And you don't get to where I am just by being average. Listen to me, you don't get to where I am, you know what I'm saying, by being inconsistent. You get to where I am by being focused. You get to where I am by being consistent. And that's what I want you to hold on to. That's what I want you thinking about inside your brain. So don't worry about who's to your left. Don't worry about who's to your right. Don't worry about what they got going on, what they saying. You stay focused and you do what you're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, when you go home to your mama, bro, and you're a graduating senior, so congrats, I'm proud of you. But when you go home to your mama not gonna say, boy, why you got a C? Your mama not gonna say you can do better than this, and you be like, but Michael wasn't. She don't care nothing about Michael. She don't care. She wasn't carrying Michael in her belly. She ain't push Michael out. She ain't give birth to Michael. She ain't working every day to feed and clothe Mike. Bro, she working to feed and clothe you. It's your responsibility. You handle your business. And I'm talking to every other student that's watching this video across the globe. You do what you gotta do. You be as amazing and as great as you've been called to be. Don't worry about the next man. Don't worry about the next woman. You stay focused and be as amazing and be as great as you have been called to be. Again, the most successful people in the world are not the most gifted or talented or smartest, but they are those who are the most disciplined. I want you to be locked in. I want you to mind your own business. I want you to stay focused on what you got to do, and you're going to go from one level to the next level and the next level. And I'm going to look up one day, and I'm going to see you at the top. All right, that's my time, man. God bless you all. I'll see y'all next week for another episode of Next Level Students. Let's get it. Hey, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode, and I wanted to share two quick things with you before you get back to class. For one, I want more videos from students just like you. So with your parents' approval, your school's approval, email those questions to me directly from your phone to info@jeremyanderson.org. It's right there on the screen, info@jeremyanderson.org. Send me your questions and you could be the next student that we feature in our video series. Also, to every teacher, counselor, and administrator watching this video, we've released our all new updated Next Level Students character curriculum. We've got a K-12 social and emotional learning curriculum that focuses on the whole child that is sure to be a game changer for your school. So visit nextlevelstudents.org and find out more information about our curriculum, and we're here to help take your school to the next level.